So we decided to just keep talking to Jojo, encouraging him. And we'll go to the store. He'll be like, Mommy, I want to buy this for my baby sister, and I love that, And he went telling people, my mom is pregnant. He called people, guess what? My mom is pregnant. I'm having a sister. He'll meet stranger. Oh, guess what? I'm going to have a little sister. Her name is Hadessa. And then he's like, Mommy, if we have a little boy too, can I pick a name? And my husband and I'm like, okay, well, think about it. And he'll come up with all this biblical name that he wants for his little brother. And it's like, Mommy, can you have 3 kids? I'm like, okay, let's, one at a time, Jojo. And so I just, took God at his word. And it wasn't easy, because now there are some places I tried to avoid because people who were there had negative comments to say. So I moved to the new house. I redecorated again. I set the nursery the way I wanted to do it. And by God's grace, it was a much bigger nursery than what we previously had. I had someone come over to visit. And once again, they looked at me straight in my face. They pretty much laughed at me and asked me, what are you doing? Like, why do you keep doing this to yourself? You did it at your previous house and there was no baby. Why are you wasting a bedroom for a child that is not here? For a child that you're not going to have? Why you keep doing that to yourself? And I didn't want to cry in front of them, but I went in my secret closet and I cried to God. I'm like, God, it's happening again. And so late last year, I didn't want to do, my doctor had told me to start looking into IVF because that was my only option of getting pregnant. And I didn't want to do IVF at first, but because I wanted kids so bad, I said, okay, I'll look into IVF. They started doing whatever it is that they needed to do with me, examination, making sure eggs counts are right, sperms are healthy, and all this wonderful thing. And everything was perfect. The insurance so far was covering for everything until we got to the point where the specialist wanted to put me to control my hormonal eggs release. So they put me on like a birth control pill for 2 weeks. And I don't know how, I'm not judging anybody. I don't know how people take birth control pills because I wasn't myself for those 2 weeks. It was the worst time in my life, both emotionally, psychologically, it was just, I was uncomfortable. I was nasty, I was mean, I was worse. There was something in those pills that was just not doing, it was negative for my body. I remember I called them, I said, I need to get out. I can't do the 2 week and this thing. Y'all need to get me out of this. And I got out of it. And it was so what was left was for us to go there so they can start me on the hormonal pill before we can do, the process, whatnot. And the insurance pull out. The insurance say it's not covering for it. And I was shocked. I'm like, what's going on? Before I thought everything was good to go. Now they don't want to cover it. And they told me, I said, okay, well, if we proceed, how much are we paying out of pocket? And the lady said, is between $10,000 to $25,000 out of pocket. And we need the money up front before we can start. And that crushed me because I knew that we didn't have that type of money, right? And at the same time, it's not guaranteed. IVF to me is 50-50. It will work, it will not work. So once again, I felt like I was playing God if I go the route of IVF. That's just me, okay? IVF have worked with so many people and it's a great thing, nothing against it. But for me, I just felt like that's not how I wanted this child to come forth. And I remember when I was asking God, I said, God, I need a testimony that men have nothing to do with it. That I can't look back and say, oh, it was because of IVF. I didn't want that. I wanted God to come in and perform a miracle in my life because my situation is that it would take a miracle. So we'll pull out since IVF said no. And I just started praying. I went back to my pastor again. I was like, this is what's happening. And he says, sometimes you have to do everything you know how to do and let go of God. You did everything. Even when you were doing IVF, we wasn't trusting medicine. We were trusting God because God worked through medicine as well. God worked through doctors. So therefore, you've done all you know how to do. Now we're going to trust God. We're going to believe. We're going to keep claiming her. We're going to be positive and we're going to move forward. And I did that for a while. So I told my husband, let's forget about IVF then. And he was okay. He was supporting me no matter what I decided to do. Now, last year in November, I talked to a friend of mine and they told me how they did IVF and now they're expecting. And I was just like, Lord, forgive me, but I want to try this thing again. So I called up and she told me where to go. I called them up. They set me up for an appointment because of the lockdown due to COVID. They was going to do everything virtually. Now, if you know me, I love to save money. I don't like wasting money for nothing. So for whatever reason, for them to see me virtually, I have to pay them $300. It didn't sit right with me because to me, I felt like you're not telling me something that I don't know. You're telling me what I already know, but I have to pay you that much money? So I was like, okay, you know what, Grace? Stop being cheap. You want this? Suck it up. Pay the $300. And I was still praying about it. My husband and I were still praying about it. My husband looking at me like, I thought you said we wasn't going to go that route. Why are you changing your mind now? And I just told him, I said, I don't know, but I just want this, babe. It's been a long time. Last time I know how it felt like to be pregnant was back in 2013. So now it's 2020 and it's been a long time and Georgia's growing and I just want, more kids, whatnot. Like, what am I going to do? That was pretty much like my mindset about all this thing. So I went about and I pretty much was like, okay, Lord, what do I do? Because I have to do something. I called them. We made an appointment. And once we made the appointment, they told me, well, why don't you, we booked the date for November the 4th. They wanted me to log in so that we can talk with their specialist, whatnot. And I went ahead and I booked my appointment. I didn't cancel it. So on the 1st, I had an appointment. November the 1st of 2020, I had an appointment with my OB. And when I went there, once again, he tells me, he's like, sorry, I just want you to know, I don't know why you're taking so long, Grace. I thought you was going to look into IVF by now. Because I'm looking at everything. You can't, you cannot have kids by yourself. And he explained to me where the tubes are blocked and, there's no way around it. There's no surgery to fix it. Because if I go surgery route, it will do more damage than any good. So IVF, and I told him about this other IVF that I was looking at, a hospital that I was looking at. He said, yeah, that's a good hospital to go through. They're the best. You should check them out. Told the doctor to go ahead and send all my information to them and that I had an appointment 3 days from there. He said, yeah, that's a perfect thing you're doing. Go for it. And the Thursday before, so my appointment was on Monday. That Thursday, I went to my doctor on Wednesday. Thursday night, I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I'm really about to spend these $300, huh? My husband was sleeping. We always play the live radio before we go to bed. And my husband was sleeping and immediately, like I sat up in my bed like that. And I'm just wondering, I'm like, Lord, I'm going to spend that much money. Like that much money I'm about to spend. And it didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right for us to have to spend that kind of money. While I was sitting there, I was also like praying. I was just trying to figure out, God, what do we do? Because that was way too much money for us to have to spend. We didn't have it. Even though we could come up with it, I didn't want to waste money. That's how I felt. I felt like I was wasting money. And immediately, Brother Branham in the voice radio, right? The sermon was playing and it was a sermon possessing the enemy preached in November 8th, 1959. This is exactly what it said. Less than God in heaven is hearing me. Less than 3 seconds or microsecond, if it makes sense. Immediately in the voice radio, Brother Branham saying, here is a little lady here wondering if she's going to have her baby. That's right. You've been in one of my meetings. I promised you by God, oh baby, didn't I? All right then, go home and have it. Don't worry about it no more. Do you believe with all your heart? All of you. And I don't know how to explain it, Mind you, my husband was sleeping because this was like around 1 something in the morning. My husband was already sleeping. He has to get up at 3 o'clock to get himself ready for work. I didn't care, and I'm saying this I didn't care what time it was, right? I woke him up immediately. I said, baby, you will not believe. This is what just happened. I was praying to God, and this what just happened. This what Brother Branham say. I'm going to believe it. And we just prayed. He's like, take God as word. I saw him in the morning. I'm calling those office. I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to hold on to God's word. And that's what I did. I called them. I canceled. They asked me, are you sure? Are you sure? I said, yes, I want to cancel. I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to cancel with you guys. I'm going to have a baby. I'm canceling my appointment. I'm sure I was weird. What do you mean you're going to have a baby? You can't have a baby. Yeah, you need us kind of mindset. I was like, nope. I hung up. I went about my business. And I just kept praying. I just kept holding on to this scripture. And I remember I talked to a brother, and the brother was telling me a testimony of this other pastor who have gone years, I think about 20 years, if I'm not wrong, or more, without any kids. And he sent me 3 different videos from that brother. And that brother was just like encouraging, And it was good to see somebody who have gone through it. And that brother testimony was that, like they had their first kids as God promised. And later on, God gave them twins and things like that. I was like, wow, Lord, like you're good, you're faithful, There's really is power in the tape. So increase my faith even more. Anytime, I'll be down. I remember the brother told me to always remember, Sister Grace, you're only one day closer to your miracle. And that was literally my mindset. That was literally my core. Anytime I feel down, I'll just say, I'm one day closer to my miracle. I'm one day closer to my miracle. And I just, kept that kind of mindset. I still have people making negative comments, don't get me wrong. But I didn't want to entertain it. I just wanted to be positive. Now, this year, as the year started, I promised myself, everybody make their own New Year's resolution. My New Year's resolution this year was that, Lord, this year is going to be my year of showing. Like, what I mean by showing is showing showing people what God is doing in my life. I'm not going to do a lot of talking. I'm just going to show God. I'm just going to show people. I'm just going to speak and move forward. I'm going to speak and move forward. Whether I see it or not, I'm going to speak and move forward. I remember my cousin Gloria. I tell her, Gloria, cette année-ci, je parle pas. Je vais seulement montrer. Like, I'm not going to do a lot of talk. I'm just going to show people that God is working. I'm just going to show. And we laugh, Last year, I laughed with her because last year, my thing was, I'm going to mind my business. I'm just going to focus on Daniel and Grace, and that's it. And this year, I was like, I'm just going to show people. I'm just going to, show what God is doing. And so, I remember the New Year's service, I believe it was, I think Brad Peter was preaching, and he talked about materialistic blessing, right? And then Joe Columba come preach about spiritual blessings, and I need both of them. So I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm always asking for spiritual blessing more than physical blessing or materialistic blessing. So I asked for a lot of materialistic blessing this year. I said, yes, I want it. Why not? I want it. It's my right, and I claimed it. And then before the year started, I had one already, and I was excited. I'm like, yes, Lord, thank you. And so I just, I held on to God's word right now. And yesterday was very tough day for me. And the reason why it was tough, I'm going to say it on my next video, because I don't want nobody to get bored. So please stay tuned.